People of Earth, we have come to upgrade your cosmic consciousness. DNA activation ready. In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome to Q&A on Breakthrough Leadership. I'm Lou Quinto.
And I'm Craig Anderson.
Wow, Craig, what a way to kick off 2022,
Ooh.
our first episode. You pulled a Clark Kent coming out of the phone booth there, taking the jacket off and the sunglasses, the regular glasses off. So
coming in hard for 2022.
Yeah. Can you believe it's 2022?
No.
I can't. I really can't. No, I'll be 62 this year. And I remember being 8 years old at day camp. And I remember Andy Gordon, this kid, he was a real nerdy type of kid. He probably is very successful and probably has more money than I do right now, but he was very nerdy. He liked to collect butterflies. And we were sitting around one day at lunchtime, and this is 1968. And he turned to everyone and he said, "Do you know how old you'll be in the year 2000?"
Yeah.
And at 8 years old, we heard the number 40, and it was just, petrifying. Now I look back and go, criminy, I'm 62 now. Where did that 40 go?
Yeah. And you thought 62 was old when you were 40.
I did. I mean,
I felt near death when you were 8.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things, age is relative. It's just a number. It truly is just a number. It
becomes more of a number the older you get, though.
Yeah.
Just a number.
So let's talk a little bit about 2022 and what we've got going here. And we started off you started this actually when we began the podcast 3 years ago with a word of the year. And do you even remember what your word of the year was back then in the very first year? Intentional. Very good. Very good. Intentional. Everything was intentional. And so I thought it would be good if we kicked off the year with just a little podcast here talking about our words of the year and why we think they're important and how they can affect our viewers and obviously our listeners here. So before we go into it, did you have any New Year's resolutions this year that you want to fill us in on?
The thing that I think is my New Year's resolution is that we prepare for these podcasts better instead of you throwing me these curveballs once we're recording, Lou.
I like improv. Come on.
I am not a New Year's resolution guy, Lou.
Really?
I got, I've got my goals for the business this year.
Good.
I'm getting married this year.
Yeah.
I have good goals, but I don't have resolutions because
look at you. There's nothing
good already.
Nothing to improve.
I'm 55. I have hit a level of perfection that I'm just like, I think I'm there.
Yeah, nothing to improve. Yeah, I didn't have any quote unquote resolutions, at least that I did on New Year's. But I did start one, and we're at 6 weeks now, and I haven't touched a cigarette in 6 weeks. Nice. So that is my 2022, continue on and kick that habit after many years.
Well, so I'm glad to hear that. Maybe now I'll start doing these with you in person again now, since I don't
because I won't smell like smoke. Right?
That's right. It'll be perfect.
But yes, and I will say it wasn't intentional. I had a very severe case of bronchitis back in November, and I just stopped cold turkey. No gum, no hypnosis, no going to meetings, hi, I'm Lou, hi, Lou, none of that stuff. I just quit, and I stayed away from events, and I stayed away from situations where I might be enticed to have a cigarette, and I said, I'm done. And so we're on 6 weeks now. So
nice. Well,
yeah. Well, unfortunately, with that came about 30 pounds, maybe not 30 pounds, but at least 10.
Well, now that you're not smoking, you can take up running again.
I can get back into the fitness thing. So anyway, enough about me and you
and me.
Let's talk word of the year.
Let's talk a little bit more about ourselves with our words for the year, Lou.
Yeah. So I'll let you go first.
Yeah, because I know what's coming.
Because yes,
You have
because,
two and you're still trying to pick one. So I will go first while you finish deciding.
okay, well, I'm sorry, your decision making on this was a lot better than mine.
Well, you know why, Lou? Because it's all about, well, I can't get this out grammatically correct. Simplify. Simplify.
I was wondering if you were going to be able to use it in the sentence that was
Yeah,
going to
well, I could, but it's simplification, but that's not what I chose. It was simplify. So
simplify. Why simplify?
Because Lou, I think we make things too complicated. I know I make things too complicated. Simplify, reduce the complexity, have less things to try and worry about from my service offerings to the way I'm going to promote myself, creating all these things and all these processes. Just simplify, show up, offer simple products that that are easy for people to understand. Simplify what's going on around in my schedule. Just, why do I have to create all these layers in my life? Simplify, just keep it straight, keep it easy, get the work done, and then enjoy the rest of my time instead of worrying about so much. Well, it's like, what is it? Gary Vee. It's like, oh, do you do TikTok? Yeah, Gary, I do 1 TikTok a day. Well, you got to do 17. That's my terrible Gary Vee impression. No, you really don't. Maybe he does, but you really don't. You don't need to post to social media 26 times a day to promote your business. You don't need to do all these things. Just simplify, offer value in a way that your clients and your prospects can clearly understand. Keep it easy. Don't make it complicated for people. People don't want to have to jump through hoops to try and figure out how to do business with you. Don't offer 26 versions of a product. Just keep it simple, keep it straight, make it easier for a client to understand in a way that it's going to help them be better, help them achieve their goals. And then just for my own life, just simplify, declutter, get rid of some of the things that are just kind of layering up. I'm still amazed. We moved a few years ago, downsized to a condo. I still have a ton of stuff. Just simplify.
Can I ask?
Recondo my life, Lou.
How many whiteboards are we down to now?
Well, the whiteboards are adhered to the walls now, Lou. So if I were to take them down, it wouldn't simplify because then I'd have to fill the holes in paint. So simplify.
Okay. All right.
And I'm going to try and work it in a hand gesture to go with it as well.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is it because I had pivot the other day. Was that us? I was doing pivot.
Yeah. For our listeners, Craig's doing stuff with his hands that if they look obscene. So.
Oh my. No, they do not.
So gotta keep it visual for the listeners here, Craig.
That's right. That's good radio when I'm doing
simplify. Your hand gestures were like a baseball umpire saying safe. Except you put them up to a little point like you were describing a mountain slope. Yeah. Okay. So if any of our listeners get that visual in your head, get it out as soon as possible. But yes, that's your simplify. Okay.
So I'll put a little video of me doing it on the website so you can just check it out after you get home.
And I like your word of the year, if I can compliment you on that, because let's face it, even we're in year 2 now of COVID, and we still don't know what's going on. Well, technically, we're 2.5 years, whatever, March.
You're 25 of COVID.
Yes, it seems like you're 25. But the other thing too is when you keep things simple and not creating all those additional layers, you can prepare yourself to be a lot more. And here comes my word of the year: agile. Boom. You can be more agile in your management and in all of your leadership and doing things, because you can turn quickly, you can move fast, you don't have a lot of baggage that you've got to carry forward. So I think agility or agile, I'll use the word in several different contexts, I think will match up perfectly with your word simplify, which, just for our viewers and listeners, you and I did not discuss this beforehand. As obviously, as you said, I mean, I'm throwing some curveballs at you by not preparing for this, and just let's take it off the cuff, and that's what we're doing. So I believe that simplify and agility are 2 words that every person, if they own their own business, even if you don't own your own business, if you are working for a major corporation, you've got to look at your job responsibilities and the people that report to you or on your team. And you need to make things across the board simple so that you can be very agile and you don't have to worry about taking a big wake with you as you move forward. It becomes very easy, if we can put it to you that way. And particularly since, as I said, if there are a lot of changes that are going to continue to, one could say, and I've heard people talk about was, well, we should be used to everything right now. We're not used to everything right now. I mean, just when we thought, what was it? We were promised in July that everything would go back to normal. And then all of a sudden, Epsilon came, and now Omicron is beating us up. Delta came, not Epsilon. I'm sorry. My Greek alphabet, I forget from my fraternity days. Yes, it was Delta, not Epsilon.
And then Omicron.
Then Omicron. Yes. Or as we would say, Omicron. So, or as our president and Dr. Fauci said early on, Omicron.
Oh, great. Well, whatever. But and here's the thing too, Lou, where I think both words kind of come into play, right? So we look at what we've been going through, and we look at continuing to evolve our businesses into this. You know, a lot of companies said, well, we're going to bring everybody back. Oh, well, maybe not. But one of the things when I think about simplifying and being agile is, look, if we're going to have our people work from home, well, let's not create a bunch of complicated, convoluted processes to keep them honest and make sure they're working, right? Assume, and I think we talked with Thomas Faint about this in our interview last year, where you hire good people, assume you've hired good people, assume they will do the job well, simplify, don't build a bunch of hoops in there. Be agile about the ways you're willing to work with your employees. Are you going to provide them equipment? Are you, whatever you're going to do, make it easy for them to perform for you and to perform.
It's funny you should say, provide them their own equipment. Going into the end of the second year now, beginning, year 3, starting March, you would think that would be something that would have been handled a long time by a lot of big companies. And I just read an article recently where I believe it was Apple who said that they are pushing back employees back to the office now indefinitely, and they gave everyone $1,000 allowance to equip a home office.
Can't even buy their products for $1,000. They don't have a product that costs $1,000.
Yeah, speaking of someone who is looking at their MacBook Pro, yes, it would not do that. But I'm assuming though at Apple you probably get a MacBook Pro as part of your benefits.
I would hope.
But this is to, I guess, in addition to your personal computers. Sure. Okay, now you're going to need to start purchasing paper clips, paper for your printer, ink for your printer. And so I'm assuming, I didn't read deep into the article. I was just shocked that here we are in 2022, and this was in December last month, where they started giving $1,000 allowance for home office because they said now it's going to be home indefinitely.
Nice. You buy one of those bouncy balls to sit on at your desk.
Yeah, those were a fad. They didn't work. No, I think more people, they said it was ergonomically good for you. I think more people ended up hurting their back because they fell off of the damn thing more often than they were sitting up straight on it. So, but no, I have to endorse our 2 words of the year: simplify and agility. And what we will do for our viewers and listeners is, for all of our podcasts in 2022, make sure that everything we talk about, and when we interview people, that we stress simplify and agility.
Perfect. I like it. Let's make it easy to get through 2022 by having that flexibility from the agility and the simplify. So when we have to make change is a lot easier because we don't have to unwind all kinds of complex processes to get where we need to be.
Perfect. So
little bow.
So key takeaway,
we picked great words. What was your word last year? My word last year was consistent.
My word for the year last year was stable. My key takeaway is to make sure that in every episode I use the word agility or agile.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you everybody for coming along on our journey. Last year, we had our big, exciting 100th episode. I'm not sure where we'll get to by the end. Well, probably around 150 at some point this year, would make the next logical sense.
Yeah, unless they change the Roman calendar and we have fewer weeks in the year. Yeah.
All right. So somewhere we should get to 150. What is that, a sesquicentennial? I don't know. Anyway, thank you for joining us on our journey as we have grown and evolved this podcast. We're looking forward to more interviews as we go through this year. If you are a viewer and you have some interesting things you'd like to talk about, we'd love to talk to you and maybe have you be one of our interview guests on the podcast this year.
Don't forget our listeners too.
Well, that's what the listeners too. Yes. If you're in your car, QAleadership.com, jump in there. You can send us an email right from there. Hit us up on any of our social media sources where we also post our video every week, like Facebook and LinkedIn and our YouTube page, as well as our website, QAleadership.com, and all your favorite podcasting platforms. We continue to see, I don't know why we do video. We're so much more popular on the podcast, Lou.
Yeah,
but that's why I'm just going to do more hand gestures to bring people into the video. So thank you all for joining us. Until next time, I am Craig Anderson.
And continue to keep your hands washed, keep your distance. I'm Lou Quinto.